NFL owners meetings, the review on roughing the passer. If I'm correct with the numbers, that they haven't called it as often based off last year, but they've been inconsistent in how they're calling it. Is that a fair way to look at this topic?
I think it's fair. I think the issue is that you basically, because roughing the passer, Dan, if you think about it, is almost exclusively called by the referee. There's two of the seven officials, two of the seven game officials who call the game from the backfield. One is the umpire, and he's mostly watching the offensive line. And the other is the referee, and he is charged on that specific play with watching, if it's a pass play, watching the hits on the quarterback. And you have 17 people, and you have 17, even though the NFL tries so hard to make it an absolute equal standard, it's impossible. They're human beings. So you have one guy who's going to say, well, that looked like the quarterback was flung to the ground, and I'm going to call it. And another referee would say, hey, he's just throwing the guy to the ground. His momentum carried him. He didn't do that maliciously. And so that's the issue right now. And look, I'm all for the NFL trying to make the game as well officiated as possible. And Dan, what's the old cliche about, you're never going to be perfect, but if you seek perfection, you'll be the best that you can be. That's fine. But for everybody to want to have pass interference and roughing the passer called the same by 17 crews, it's a pipe dream. It's never going to happen.
Are you against review for roughing the passer?
I mean, I'm sort of, Dan, I think replay ought to be used on any play that a coach wants to challenge. And, that's a Belichickism too. But the reason that I feel that way is that if you only have a certain amount of challenges in a game, you're going to be judicious with them as a coach. So it's not going to be, oh my God, there's going to be so many more stoppages. Coaches are going to have to save a challenge or two for late in the game. So they're not going to throw a flag on something that happens with 10 minutes left in the first quarter, most likely. So all I'm saying is I'm in favor of being able to challenge anything. But I mean, I think there are a lot more important things that can be challenged, honestly, than hits on quarterbacks. It's something that is not just going to be done in a uniform way.
Yeah, I worry that if we start to go a little bit closer to college, you have automatic ejections here. Those are review. They do look at those, but still, you're talking about automatic ejections. I don't know if the NFL gets to that point.
I don't think so. I can't see it. I can't see, Micah Parsons 5 minutes into a playoff game driving Jalen Hurts into the ground, and and Sean Hockey saying ejection.
Yeah.
It's too, these games, even regular season games, they're too important, I think, to make. Now, look, it's one thing if Micah Parsons rears back and slugs Jalen Hurts in the jaw with a punch, he should be ejected, but not for a football play that maybe is over the line.